Dang, okay. Well, how's it going, guys? It's me, Vex. It's been a while, I know. Haven't been filming anything recently because I've been taking a short break, getting caught up with other stuff, other games I've been playing, and getting back into games that I didn't think I'd be getting back into, such as Fortnite. I've been playing that with a couple friends of mine lately, and so that's why I've been away. But I've been wanting to get back into the supermarket so that we can continue on where we left off and also continue on with more drama. Yes. I'm back. I've been doing some research. Not a whole lot. I've been keeping up with small topics here and there that have been coming by, and boy, do I have a couple good ones today to speak on. It is some crazy stuff, you know. Um, I'm not like the most in-depth news channel tuber or anything like that. I honestly just play video games and decide to add these commentaries over because it honestly felt like a good idea just to go along with the gameplay. But in the latest news of things, oh man. So EDP is back. Gosh, it for those of you guys who don't know EDP, he used to be a YouTuber who was very well liked. He just made rant videos and stuff, him talking about Eagles and uh, the football team and a bunch of other just random crap that he had going on at the time. And then he would be someone who spoke his mind rather than kind of let things, be censored or whatever. But he was someone who a lot of people liked. A lot of memes came from him. You might recall him from the man, that shit's overrated as fuck. Or I forget how that meme goes, but
I mean, it's alright. Like, overrated as fuck, in my opinion. I mean, and you know what, though? That's typically how the bullshit goes. You feel me?
he has a couple memes to his name and a couple other good videos that people liked him for before. But then there came an incident where he was infamously caught trying to meet up with a minor for a what he called, quote unquote, a cupcake. He was there to pick up a cupcake, and he got caught in a sting operation, and it did not go well for EDP. He immediately got canceled. A lot of his socials were then taken away. He was banned off of many platforms, and for the longest time, you couldn't hear anything about EDP without it being someone exposing him again for continuously talking to more minors, or him trying to get new jobs and not being able to because people are like exposing him to his jobs and everything. People would call up the places he was working at whenever they would discover that he was working somewhere new, and they would snitch on him. They would let him know what he did, rightfully so, and he would get kicked out. So due to that, for the longest time, he wasn't rice bread and cereal are up. He wasn't really getting a lot of traction. I think we set those before the last end of the game. And so, for a while he was off the grid, trying to live a normal life as he could, eventually trying to join new social media apps in which he could upload videos similarly styled to YouTube. But it did not go so well for him at first. Now, recently he's come back to YouTube under a new username, and so far he hasn't gotten banned. Nothing has been done to his channel. But a lot of people have noticed that he's back getting views, considerable amount of subscribers, but he recently dropped what I guess you could call would be an apology video, but it's not even really an apology. He addresses nothing about what he did, and instead it kind of goes on a tangent about how you have to be responsible for your actions and take accountability and this and that. And the people who went as far as to then track him down and try to ask him more questions and make the situation bigger were the terrible people.
People are going to paint their narrative on you based on what they want to believe, especially when it comes to the internet and social media. One thing I want you guys to understand is that when you're dealing with trolls, when you're dealing with people on the internet who can just leave a comment and just run off to the scurries of their own, hiding spots, is that There's no reconciling with these motherfuckers. There's no getting through to them.
So he honestly drops this like really terrible video trying to take no accountability, no responsibility, and do no actions towards rectifying what he did or even admitting what he was doing. You know, he'd rather play innocent still and act like nothing he did was his fault or that he was set up.
The whole incident and stuff like that. I'll be the first person to tell you, I was in a very dark place in my life, very dark place. You know, had the fame, had the money, you know, had the status, you know. I thought that I couldn't be touched and paid the price for it, you know. Now, one thing I want you guys to understand, you know, another thing I want you guys to understand, and of course, you know, there's going to be those motherfuckers out there, oh, EDP, just because you were in a dark place, that doesn't justify what you did. First off, don't try to put fucking words up in my mouth. We're not here for that shit. I'm here to explain to you where I was at in my headspace a few years ago.
Hey guys, post-editing Vex here. Just wanted to jump in right after this clip because I just wanted to point out how crazy this man sounds right now. He literally goes and leads the explanation of the situation that, as he calls it, the situation a couple years ago is how he refers to his exposing and he tries to sugarcoat the entire situation, right? Then talks about how, oh, I was in a very dark headspace at the time. So let me explain to you guys why I was in a dark headspace. And then tries to be like, oh, I know some people are going to be like, yeah, you can't justify that with what you did. Don't say I said that. That's not what I'm saying. That's literally what you're saying, bro. You're literally talking about how a couple years ago you messed up because you were in the wrong headspace, and now you're trying to tell us not to assume that you're using that as a justification for your actions. That is literally what you're doing right now. So I just wanted to hop in and point that out because I thought that was crazy. A lot of these clips are added after the videos, so I don't really get to say these things in the moment when like I know that like the proof that I have is going to be added after. So I just wanted to hop in and explain that real quick and let you guys get back to the video.
The only thing that you can do as a human being when you make a mistake to this magnitude is to take responsibility for your actions, take accountability for your actions, understand that there is an issue, right? Understand that this is not normal. You know what I mean? To have these type of behaviors, they are not normal, right?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Get the necessary help, whether it's talking to a psychiatrist, talking to a therapist, you know, it could even be as simple as sitting down and talking to your family members.
You know, there was a time where he even tried to release a video where it sounded like AI Barack Obama was interviewing him just to have him say that the entire situation was a plot for a movie that he was trying out, and that the person who was conducting this sting operation had hired him for that, had told him that it was going to be an audition for a movie, which is why he went.
The incident that took place on April 18th, 2021 actually didn't occur. So explain what actually happened.
Oh, it's simple what fucking occurred. I was set up. You know, there's nothing to sit back and try to, you know, conscrew or try to, you know, make it look like something different than what the fuck it already was. Like, I was set the fuck up, period. First and foremost, you know, in the very beginning, I was emailed by chat because, I mean, I'm assuming, I'm fucking guessing that somebody from, you know, the actual Wavelength Production Studios forwarded my email over to him. That's how he fucking got it up in the first place. That's how he was able to get in contact with me. You know what I mean? And so we started chatting back and forth here and there and stuff like that, you know, and then we did the whole, you know, like we scheduled a time to meet and things of that nature. Went over to Rite Aid. Javier, the camera guy, he walked.
Obviously, we know that was totally false. We had messages proving that he was talking to the minor, that he was wanting to meet up with said minor, and that he had even sent pictures of his own poop to said minor. So it's not like this man was out of the realm of understanding what he was doing when it came to all of this. He very much well went into the entire situation wanting to see a kid and hoping that what he wanted would happen, but it didn't. You know, he got Chris Hansened, and it didn't go well for him. And now he's tried to make a comeback, and he's back at the moment. Whether he'll stay up for, you know, much longer is another question. I don't know how long it's going to be before YouTube kind of gets on this and decides that, you know, his channel is worth banning again, considering what he did was true. They had the evidence and the messages and everything to back it up, but unfortunately nothing could be done on the side of the law because they had gotten, you know, too invested in the situation and kind of, you know, ruined everything for the cops if they were to want to investigate anything. So hopefully YouTube gets on that and does something about it. I don't think it's a good idea to kind of have him on, considering what he did, and the fact that he's able to just kind of ban evade, I guess, in a way, is kind of crazy. I mean, you see people do this all the time where they'll go away for, you know, a couple months, maybe years or so, and then they'll come back, and it's kind of like YouTube forgot what they did initially and is letting them slide. But hopefully that isn't the situation with this, and hopefully people make enough noise about it that, you know, this gets back on the mainstream so that people can see that he doesn't really deserve to be back on YouTube the way he's trying to come back on. And we should definitely not make it any easier for him to think that he can, you know. But I think that was just honestly crazy. What he did was not forgivable in any way. I don't think anyone would kind of sit there and be like, oh yeah, you know, that EDP guy, he's definitely changed now, considering that he doesn't even want to own up to what happened. And, you know, now all of a sudden he wants to speak on it and apologize for it. Now that he wants to make a comeback, now that he wants to come to YouTube, because nothing that he's been doing on the outside, I'm assuming, has been working out. So that's been an interesting little deep dive into that side of the internet, but speaking on, you know, these whack people and the whack things that they're doing, another whack person who had made a disappearance and we hopefully had seen the last of him was Mamamax. And Mamamax was who should have, you know, probably initially caught EDP, if we're being honest. If anything that Mamamax did was real, then we probably would have seen that come to light. But Mamamax was what used to be, I guess you could call, the PDF file hunter. He made videos on alleged PDF files who were, you know, in different parts of the internet, whether it be like kid sites, whether it be forums, whether it be whatever. He would allegedly, you know, hunt them down and try to get information on victims that they had and bring their stories out to light and get them arrested. There was a time where his videos were seemingly getting censored by YouTube for exposing these guys to the light, and so he made a big stink about it, gathered a bunch of YouTubers and friends of his to kind of defend him, and they did at the time. He tried this again a second time, and I think they, you know, slid for bro again. And then this third time, when he was trying to expose what was allegedly a cult being run by a guy who believed he was a vampire something and that he was abducting minors and trafficking them and trying to enslave them for his cult, and that he was converting people into vampires. He was then also living with the prime suspect in the quote-unquote case that they were going to try to pursue and trying to gather money for her. So, you know, not only was this entire situation a huge conflict of interest on Max's part, but Max did not do a great job of handling the entire situation at all. He tried to basically put out a video with no definitive evidence on what was going on. He just wanted to gather what quote-unquote evidence he had at the time and say that it was conclusive enough to, you know, start a case against him. And this did not go over well with a lot of other YouTubers. A lot of YouTubers that were also his friends were trying to be dragged into this by Max, and that didn't really go well in the end for him. All of them kind of just turned on him, and rightfully so exposed his ass the moment they realized that everything that he was doing was honestly just kind of like a big game, I guess, to Max. You know, he was making this case much worse by trying to quote unquote help the victims. There was no help being done. He was just trying to put out narratives and get people to believe him so that he could make the money that he wanted, and then I guess fund the people, the victims or whatever. But like, none of that was going to work. Honestly, I don't believe Max thought any of this through. This man went as far as to claim that ChatGPT knows the legal system. It's his infamous quote. ChatGPT knows the legal system. Can you guys believe that? This man used ChatGPT as a way of trying to prove that the court would take multiple testimonies on his part as evidence rather than having concrete evidence. Because I guess they didn't want to show people the entire evidence at first. The evidence was kept under an NDA that you had to then sign if you wanted to look at. It was all fishy stuff. Honestly, none of it seemed legit, and it didn't seem like, you know, bro was doing anything correctly. Like, honestly, this man is a weirdo, and the fact that people let him get away with this for a second at first is crazy to me. Because this is something that maybe a lot of us should have clued in a lot sooner. It may be on our fault as viewers to kind of blindly have believed what this man was doing as good intentions, considering that he was, quote unquote, the PDF file hunter. So, you know, the credibility with someone like that was very high placed. And so, what? There's a self-checkout? Yo! $900. I'm very sorry to cut in through halfway. Sometimes I forget I'm playing a video game at the same time as I'm doing these things. So I think there's been an update because self-checkout speakers, I think this is all new, especially because I saw like a couple games ago that you could have music in here. So that's kind of cool. I think that's sick. I'm honestly excited for us to get to that point where we are able to play our own music. I wonder if you're able to like play your own music, or if it's like automatic music that the game has set. But anyways, yeah. So Mamamax tried to make a comeback recently to cut the long explanation story of his lore short. Some of you guys may already know, and if you do, then great, you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, search up Mamamax and his downfall, and you'll very quickly be hit with a ton of great videos. One I definitely recommend is a Nicholas Diorio video, in which he had, I think it was like an hour-long expose essentially on the entire situation with Max, and he did a great job of narrating and telling the story of like what has happened up until now to a very, very good way. Minus the like most recent updates, which is he was photographed working with some like kids group in El Paso, I think, which is where he's from. But if anyone knows what he has done and knows the type of person he is, then it should be known that he should probably have no contact with kids whatsoever, or try to talk to them based off of the type of influence that he is and has been to other people of younger status. A lot of the people that he was trying to quote unquote represent when faced with the prospect of possibly suing Mudahar, some ordinary gamer, on the prospect of him having a ton of money, quote, from Max, having said that. This is someone who Mudahar considered a friend, and very quickly realized was not a friend at all when he had seen this screenshot be leaked. Someone had leaked it out of the server that they were, supposedly all the victims were, being talked to by Max and the other prime defendant, or whatever, the prime victim, whatever it's called. You know what I'm talking about. And so it did not bid well for him. It was clear that he was just only after one thing, and that the entire case that should have been a lot more serious ended up just being something that he was not taking serious at all. He did not do a good investigative work on this. He did a terrible job of combining the evidence and trying to gather all the people. And when the going went too rough for him, he tried to pass this on to other YouTubers to do his work for him because he couldn't figure out any other way around it, because none of it was technically true at the time. I mean, who knows how much of it is true now? This man claims that it could be decades before we even find out the truth about the case, which is crazy because bro was so adamant that he had enough evidence on the case to get this man locked up now, that we needed to work now before he had more victims because, he's a dangerous person. Like, this is what Max was on about. And now all of a sudden it's going to take decades for this, situation to fully get understood and the man to get caught. Okay, buddy. Yeah. What are you talking about? This man is just upset that he didn't have any evidence to show and that his entire plan fell through the roof, This man can't do anything. This man sucks. and that's just what it is. Unfortunately, he shouldn't try to make a comeback on YouTube. It's not a place where he's going to be quickly accepted back just because of who he is. If he thinks that, that's how it's going to work, then he definitely has another thing coming for him. And it's crazy to think that he believes he can just waltz back in. You know what I mean? It's not cool. Bro definitely needs to stay away. Okay, so we've got black fridges right now. I think for the drink fridge, I want to make it a different color, so I might make it like a blue. Let's add that, and let's remove this one. We got 400 in the bank. We can ship this over, and then we'll put it right here. There we go. Nice. That's gonna be the drinks one. So that's going to be cool. I'm excited to try and get that self-checkout. I didn't realize that was being added to the game, and I think that's honestly pretty cool because it would make, not having employees a lot easier at the beginning. We could have self-checkout prompts, and then once we get higher level and we're able to kind of delegate that work off to someone else, we can hire people and, pay them rightfully for their work, of course. We're not terrible bosses out here, but, the store is stocked. I am excited with the progress we have made and excited with the license we're going to open up soon here. We're going to be able to start selling drinks. But yeah, Mamamax is trying to make a comeback. He definitely shouldn't try to come back, and it's definitely something that, again, we need to kind of work as a collective of people who watch YouTube and enjoy the videos that we do, but also, to watch out for the safety of others. I think it's a good idea to call these people out. There's a lot of people on the internet who I think deserve rightful call-outs that sometimes get overlooked, and sometimes the situations aren't really dwelled on long enough for anything to happen. You need to continue making stinks about certain things if you want people to listen, because everything traffics the internet these days. Every piece of news goes over, and we gotta kind of zone in on the ones that we really want to push across if we want results. So these situations are definitely big ones. The whole EDP situation is a big one. The whole Mamamax situation was huge. It was a huge slap in the face to people who believed that this man was out there doing the right thing and bringing justice to victims that were being hurt by degenerates on the internet, and degenerate people who don't know how to keep to themselves or to people that are rightfully around their own age. So calling these people out was something that was seen as a good thing. No one was ever against Max and the type of videos he made, as edgy as they seemed and very weird looking as they were, with the weird images and flashes of strobing lights and things that he would add in them to kind of make it seem very cyberpunk-ish, very just futuristic-ish, or dystopian looking. So this man had a way with editing, and no one really looked too closely into that until things started to seem fishy. Where is the proof of arrest? Where is the proof that anything that you've been claiming was real has been real? Everything he's shown us was just false. Nothing that he showed us was technically true, besides certain messages that I guess you could claim were true. But in the end, he messed up, and then that's just what it is. Bro needs to kind of live with it and start putting the fries in the bag. It is what it is. You know, he was for a while seemingly trying to get, you know, outside employment from YouTube, and there's nothing wrong with working outside of YouTube. I work outside of YouTube. It's what you have to do sometimes. You know, YouTube isn't always going to be there to make money for you, and sometimes it will. It just depends on how you go about it. But having a regular job outside of YouTube, if you're a YouTuber, isn't a terrible thing. People make it out to seem like, oh my god, you're a peasant now because you have a job. But no, the entire world works on people having a job, you know? Who do you think scans your groceries? Who do you think fills your gas when there's no more gas in the machines? Who do you think stocks the food when there's no more food in the fridges? Like, who do you think does all these things that you use even if you don't directly work in them? Someone who's working in it. There's a job for everything, and people need help in every other district of the world where they can get it. So it's like, you know, having a regular job isn't bad. It means you're just contributing to society in a more meaningful way than sitting down and making YouTube videos. I mean, you know, I'm sitting down and making a YouTube video, but that doesn't mean my video is going to contribute to, you know, the bigger picture in a bigger way, just besides getting my message across about the things that I'm passionate about, you know? So to think that you're above a job is crazy, but, you know, it's good that at least he was looking for something outside of YouTube, and hopefully things go better for him and he gets the hope that he needed, because it seemed like for a lot of situations he was not mentally there, and bro was a weirdo for sure. So we have sodas in the store now. Moving on to some good news. We have sodas in the store and juices. We're just going to get a bit of everything just so that we can put them straight out. And yeah, this is sick. We got new product license, we got new fridge, we got more stuff in the shop, we got more internet tea, gossip, information, whatever you want to call it. I have it. You know, we got it here at Vex's store. The only thing that's missing is the soda. Yeah, thank you, sir. I just bought that and it's sitting outside. Damn, you guys couldn't even wait a second before already bombarding me with there's no soda. Like, yes, I know, I just bought it, bro. But on the flip side, you know, at least things are being brought out to light as they should be. You know, 2024 has been a very crazy year, as a lot of things have come out to light about many different people. So yeah, that's just how it goes, and it was kind of bound to happen that, you know, something came up with your favorite YouTuber. It seems like everyone's favorite YouTuber as of late has been getting into some crazy stuff. You know, I used to be someone who supported Max. It was crazy to me when that came out. You know, I couldn't believe it. It was crazy to me when other situations with other YouTubers have come out, and it has surprised me. So, you know, it's happened everywhere, and I think in this digital age, it's just a lot of things are harder to, you know, keep hidden, especially if you were up to some crazy, wicked things back in the day. So, you know, that's just how it goes. Everyone's got to be careful. Everyone's got to be very, and not to fall into that, you know, one trend. I'm not even going to touch on it once I say this. Once I say it, you're going to know what I'm talking about. But it's not to sound like that one trend, but you do really got to be sometimes mindful about the things that you put out there, because, you know, they be saying, oh, the internet saves everything. The internet, you know, knows, and everyone's going to know. Yep. It's true. There's been things that, you know, have been only discovered because someone has dug it up through archiving and looking through places where things were archived. So you'll never know what's been saved. You never know what's going to be out there. And so it's best to just know what you're putting out there so that you know you're not putting something that's going to come back to bite you. You understand? But moving on, another, you know, crazy line of things that I've been just finding a lot more interesting as they've been unfolding, because of just, you know, I play video games, I'm a gamer, I like to keep up with that type of stuff, but the whole gaming industry has been going crazy as of late. A lot of games coming out very buggy, a lot of games coming out very terrible, a lot of games coming out very woke. And now, you know, I'm not against a lot of, like, the stuff out there, you know. I'm not very prejudiced towards, you know, people of a certain, you know, orientation. I'm not prejudiced against, like, you know, people of different races. Like, there's nothing that like I'm really too terribly worried about at the end of the day to make me go woke, or to make me feel like, I just, oh God, I have to fight for this. But, having it kind of seep into the games that we play and the stuff that we watch. And, it's like sometimes you want to get into these media spaces to get away from the real life, and to have the real life kind of seep into places where you don't expect it kind of sucks sometimes. So having all these woke like games come out and try to expect us to conform to them as if like that's what we wanted is kind of crazy, because game companies are out here claiming, oh well, we know what gamers want and this is what the gamers want and there's a market for this. There's not a market for half the things you guys have been trying to sell. Concord failed. It's getting shut down now, probably converted to a free-to-play game because they couldn't sell enough copies to have concurrent players reach more than 300, and it's because they made a game that no one likes. They were so adamant that people were going to like this game, that there's a market for this game. No one wants a game full of woke agendas that are just going to push stuff down people's throat that they don't want to see. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. We play video games to play a good video game that runs with a good story, that can have no bugs in it sometimes, on launch preferably, a game that'll keep us entertained, that has a good leveling system, that has a good progression system, just the basic stuff. At this point, we're just asking for the most basic of things in video games, and I feel like people and gaming industries are finding that so hard to meet. Like, what happened to trying to meet everyone's demand and the customer is right? Now, all of a sudden, when we're trying to tell you what we like and what we don't like, now we're wrong. We have to be used to not owning our games. We have to be used to trying to buy digital media because physical media is going out of style. But, the rise in physical purchases for things has gone up as, people want to be able to, remember the stuff that they own. People want to be able to own the things that they liked into the future and not have to then go looking for it at a disc replay because they don't manufacture it anymore because someone thought that it was a good idea to discontinue it. Half the times what we want is just something simple, but lately the games that have been coming out so busted, so janky, so terrible that it's not even worth playing anymore. I don't even pre-order games anymore because you don't even know if it's going to be worth the now $70 price tag that is attached to it. I remember when games used to be $50, $60, that was the standard, regardless of what year it was, regardless of how much inflation was. The video game market never changed because the video game market stayed solid. People were releasing good games back then and no one could really complain about anything. We had what we wanted and our market wasn't being messed with. As soon as it rose in popularity and people saw the advantageous nature of having games cater to certain people, then it became a widespread, we gotta be representative of this, representative of that, and push this and push that, DEI this, DEI that. Every single instance of DEI that has been pushed by any company has immediately been shut down because we know what that means. We know what it means already, and we don't want it. We don't like it. There's a small market for it, and the people who want that market are just people who want to feel represented in every part of the world because they have, quote-unquote, no representation within themselves. But isn't the first step of being a great person or, having a good mindset in life is to love yourself? If you can't love yourself enough to, feel represented in the areas where you can get representation because it makes sense, then I don't know what else you could want. Because, now you want to be represented in my video game in which I should have the liberty to decide how my character looks like. If there's a character creator, I should be able to decide what my character is and isn't because of the fact that I'm playing the game. I own the game. It's my game. Video games used to really be yours and video games used to really be cool. But now it's just all about whatever is in trend, whatever is in style, or swapping this and swapping that, or changing the story so that it's less focused on the main character and more on the side characters. Make a side character game. The game is called, main character for a reason. And then all of a sudden you only get to play that main character for 5 out of the 16 hours that you have in the entire game because they decide that shorter games are now better than having full narrative games that could span you, maybe a couple weeks to play, if not even months. What happens to that? What happened to replayability and being able to enjoy the entirety of content without having to want to buy the rest of it because it comes prepackaged in 2 separate DLCs? What is that? the entire state of gaming has changed, and it's kind of annoying. I wish it would go back to what it was, where, you know, we would have lines outside for the new COD, and, you know, we would have good times playing the multiplayer games that would come out, and the story player games were really fun, and everything was just nice. But, you know, I think that's why there's been such a deep dive in nostalgia, because there's just a lot of things that sometimes we wish could go back to the simple way of doing thing and not having to have this quote-unquote upgraded version of it. I think sometimes, you know, like they say, if it isn't broke, then don't try and fix it. And a lot of things with how we used to do things back then weren't broke. It's just people thought, oh, it could be better, or oh, it's so outdated, or oh, we need to be new. Like, we don't always have to be new. Tell me one new thing about you, and half of you are probably going to be able to say nothing, because sometimes there's nothing new with us, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, you know? But it's just how it goes, and people, you know, will see two ways about it, and that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I'm not going to hold you to something and, you know, call you out for whatever just because, you know, you're an existing person. You have the right to those opinions and how you feel. I'm just some guy on the internet talking about this to you, you know? It doesn't go further than that, man. Don't think too much about it, but we're here just for the good times, and we're here just for the, you know, kind of gossip and whatnot. But that stuff's been going crazy. You know, it's been a very weird time on the internet, but I'm glad that at least we had the Labor Day weekend to relax and chill. So, you know, with that being said, moving away from the crazy topics of the internet, I had a good time over the weekend. I didn't do much besides, you know, go out for a walk in the park with my fiance and, you know, have a good time here at home with my cats. But definitely played some video games and got my game on. Got more progressed in Wukong. I definitely recommend that game. I talked about it last game, and I'm going to talk about it now. Definitely recommend it. Don't listen to any bad reviews out there. I haven't had any bugs on the PS5, if that means anything to any of you guys who play on console or PC. I haven't had any bugs on the PS5 so far. I'm well into Chapter 3, and while that may not be far in, it's been a great time. I've been enjoying every single second of the game. I've been taking my time playing the game, making sure I try to find all the bosses, making sure I find all the hidden collectibles that I can find. I'm a very, you know, driven person when it comes to trying to find collectibles and trying to get everything so that I can 100% a game. And this game has been fun to do so, because it doesn't hold your hand in the way that, like, it necessarily tells you right away where everything is, but instead it's up to you to find it, and boy, do you gotta search. Sometimes, you know, you'll just be stumbling upon something that you thought wasn't that important, and it ends up being the passage to a secret boss, or it ends up being a passage to a secret item, or, you know, like side mission that leads to something bigger later on. So it's definitely a great game, in the content that it holds. Upgrading is great. I've leveled up so quick and have unlocked so many different, you know, stances and abilities and just helpful things in the game that make my gameplay experience so much better. I honestly don't think the bosses are terribly hard. After a couple of tries and a couple of humbling deaths, you'll be able to learn the combos and very well dodge and, you know, go crazy. I especially like when you do the perfect dodge and it leaves an after image of your person. It feels very satisfying to hear that you know, as you dodge and the person, like, you know, barely misses you, and then you do it again, and then you do it again, and you hit their combo, or you break them out of their combo. It's so fun. It definitely is a different feel to a fighting game than what I'm used to. I'm not one to play a lot of, like, fighter-like games, or, like, a lot of people have been, you know, calling this a roguelike or a Souls-like, I mean, or, you know, stuff like that, kind of comparing it, but this has definitely not been like that as far as I can tell. It honestly feels like a gauntlet of enemies through story progression, the way that I see it. It's definitely a great time, though. I enjoy it. It's a great game, and I have no complaints about it. I'm glad I got it. And I wouldn't have cared if I got it full price or on a sale. It was great. It's great. If a sale comes up and it happens to be on sale, get it, because eventually, you know, it's going to go on sale, just like every other popular game does, you know, for the holiday seasons or whatever. especially now with physical media being so scarce to find. You're definitely going to get a sale on it for digital because, you know, they'd rather you own it digitally than physically. But besides the point, it's a great game. Buy it. Get it on sale. Get it on regular price. It doesn't matter. If you're more suited for a controller, definitely play it on your PC, on your PS5. And if you're more suited to keyboard and mouse, then PC is the way to go. And I bet once the modding for Son of Wukong goes crazy, it'll go crazy. I think there's already been modding, maybe. I don't know. You know how modders are. They get to anything pretty quickly. But, definitely look into that if you guys are wanting to play something new that isn't your average, linear story progression, mini map on top bar, northwest campus looking, it's a good time, and the visuals are amazing. Definitely a great game. Definitely recommend for anyone who's out there looking for something new. I definitely was, and definitely do not regret getting it. So good times. But we have made a great progression today, if I do say so myself. We paid off our loan last game. We've got new items on the shop right there, and we've got new drinks out too. We hit 1,000 earlier. I don't know if you guys had saw. That was our highest we had gotten, and I went and invested all that money into that fridge and being able to purchase the product license to start selling drinks. As you guys can tell, our drinks are going, man. The not Coke, the not Sprite, and the not Diet Soda are going great. Orange and apple juice obviously are doing great too, and everything over here is doing amazing right now. I don't remember if there was any price cuts recently, but it's nice that product is slowly moving out, kind of like how I told you guys. It gets very easy once you get into the later levels. You just gotta wait for people to start coming through, start buying your stuff slowly but surely. Maybe take a loan, 1 or 2 out, but definitely be conscious of paying it back, because it can sneak up on you. And just like real life, you don't want debt. It gets very messy when you have to pay the late fees, and there are late fees in this game. So besides that, it's a very cool game. This is another game I definitely recommend if you guys are looking for more. I see that the boxes are glowing, or they were glowing like a red outline or a green outline. I don't know if you guys were seeing that, if that means anything, based off of stock, if we have space for it or not. I don't know if it does it when I'm open and not when I'm closed anymore, to kind of let me know. But let's finish off today and today's video with these last couple customers, being able to end off on a good note. I'm glad we got just a tiniest bit more expanded, and that I was able to cut down this video a bit considerably, since my last couple videos have been much longer on the game. I don't think a lot of people are very much looking forward to tuning into an entire hour of yap sessions, but here we are, down to our last customer. Thank you, sir, for the exact change. Very much appreciated. Let's check with today. 2 products not found. Okay, supply cost was 500, but we made a profit of 351 with a good balance at the end of the day. Cool. And the only thing that's going down for the next match is the peanut butter. We are chilling, guys. We're good. We just gotta restock the next time we load in for that stuff and kind of get it going. But that was kind of it on my part. I don't have a lot of other stuff going on. I had a couple more topics that I would have been able to get into, but I just need to do a little bit more research on YouTube content farms. Lately have been crazy. I was watching an August the Duck video where he went in and just on a YouTube Kids account searched up videos, and a lot of content that shouldn't be marketed towards kids was being shown to him. And then his video on the entire situation got age restricted. Can you believe that? But these explicit videos of people reading basically innuendo-like stories constantly with very just kind of sexually charged thumbnails to draw in the kids have been going viral. A lot of people have been catching on to these content farms that just make these videos all the time. And it's a lot of cartoon characters or superhero characters or stuff like that get used to draw in the kids to watch these videos. They make millions of views. And it's definitely something that should be looked at. YouTube shouldn't be turning a blind eye to this. Their algorithm for how kids searches should be changed, and I think there's definitely something going on with what content kids get shown, and the irony of, you know, them being so hard on content being safe for kids, but then in the YouTube kid side of things, these are content farms that are going crazy, and there's nothing being done about them. So I think that's kind of crazy too. You know, possible Kendrick comeback. For those of you guys who don't know, Kendrick and Drake had beef. Shit was crazy. You had to know. You had to be there. I know you know. So I don't have to give you guys an explanation about what happened. But possible Kendrick comeback album might be on the way. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see what happens. Drake kind of hinted at a round 2 with Kendrick, claiming that he was going to win round 2. We know how round 1 went, and I'm definitely looking forward to round 2, because if so, this man Kendrick's going to cook him. I knew it from the beginning. Drake was going to get cooked, and he did. Is not unfortunate, rightfully deserved, and definitely excited if there's a part 2. Kendrick said he had 10 more in stock, and I'm excited to hear the rest. So if you liked this video and you liked the you know, kind of just small deep dive into, or small surface level dive into certain topics that, you know, maybe later on I can dive further into on separate videos, but if you like what we talked about today, if you enjoyed the gameplay, I know I didn't talk a lot about what was going on, but if you don't know, we bought a fridge, we got new products in, and we are level 12 in the store. So we've definitely gone a long way from where we were, and for the next time, once we come back, if we want to, we can buy a product license for more products, being cake products and candy and stuff, yogurt. So we might need a fridge for some of these things. So if we do, that's something we got to look into. We're getting very close to being able to sell like household stuff, toilet paper, shampoo, soap, bleach, cleaner stuff, and then selling more cold products. That looks like over here: mozzarella, cheese, honey, tuna. I see. So we're a couple levels away from being able to sell like meat, or I don't think there's any meat. Is there any meat somewhere around here? It doesn't look like it, not yet, but once we get to the deeper level stuff, that's gonna be fun. And we can buy an expansion. So we're in between a couple different choices. We can either get new product license, we can get an expansion, we could hire a cashier, purchase storage. Hey, we can purchase the storage room, finally, and I think we wouldn't have access to that door yet until we expand the storage room, but then in the storage room we'd have room to kind of just place all our overstock. So we'll see. We'll look into that. Maybe we'll buy the storage in pairing with the next upgrade for that, so that we can unlock the entire storage altogether. But we're making good money right now. Just, you know, just us, just you and me, just the viewer and me. So again, if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like, consider subscribing so you can follow me on this journey and you can hear more of my yap. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'll see you guys later. Peace.
Trip in my room, feeling like a cartoon. Mask on, mask off, I'm a Looney Tune. Walking through with the strength of a monsoon. Gotta play it cool, gotta see my mom soon. I'm higher than I should be, not as high as I could be. Yup, getting high at the movies. These some Mario smoothies.